All right, let's jump right into this. Today, we're unpacking a massive, often totally overlooked global opportunity: the insanely lucrative worlds of importing and exporting used vehicles. I mean, if you've ever looked at a car and wondered exactly how it crosses oceans to find a new owner, or if you're just fascinated by the sheer logistics of global trade, well, you're absolutely in the right place. This explainer is going to give you the exact step-by-step framework you need to really grasp the mechanics of this multi-billion-dollar industry right from the ground up. So the big question, are you ready to actually monetize your passion for cars? Because look, entering the international vehicle trade, it isn't just about putting a car on a ship and hoping for the best. No way. It's really about building a rock-solid, totally compliant, and highly profitable pipeline across borders. It takes strategy, it takes precision, and you really need to understand how these global markets actually interact with one another. Just to give you some perspective on the sheer scale of this market, over 360,000 used vehicles move annually over the Canadian border into the US alone. I mean, just think about that volume for a second. That is nearly 1,000 cars every single day. That relentless flow of inventory creates a staggering $15 billion ecosystem. And remember, that's just one single border. We're talking about a truly interconnected global network that spans every single continent. So here's our 6-step operational blueprint. We're going to cover 1, the global opportunity; 2, licensing and compliance; 3, international sourcing; 4, logistics and shipping; 5, customs clearance; and finally, 6, maximizing your bottom line. Let's kick things off with step 1, the global opportunity, or how to actually find the best markets. When we project out to 2026, we're seeing a really stark contrast in export strategies. You can't just ship cars blindly. You've got to understand where the demand actually lives. Take Russia, for example. Now, it's a stable market, sure, but it is notoriously tough for newcomers. You're dealing with low profit margins, and it's heavily dominated by large manufacturers with deep localization capabilities. Basically, you're competing with giants there. But then, look at Africa. We are talking zero tariffs in many regions, explosive consumer demand for affordable transportation, and just incredibly high profit margins. Honestly, for small and medium-sized dealers looking to go global, it is hands down the top choice for rapid growth right now. Moving right along to step 2, licensing and compliance. This is all about protecting those investments. You really have to master destination-specific regulations because while stepping out of bounds can literally cost you your entire shipment. Take the 25-year rule for U.S. imports, for example. It's this massive, highly utilized legal loophole where vehicles over 25 years old can completely bypass the standard, really strict EPA and DOT compliance standards. So suddenly, that classic foreign sports car, totally fair game. But hey, don't let these exceptions fool you into thinking the whole process is casual. If you're bulk exporting or, buying and reselling repeatedly, you absolutely must hold a valid motor vehicle dealer license. It gives you that legal standing with customs and the ability to seamlessly reassign vehicle titles without throwing up any red flags. But you've got to beware of shifting landscapes here. The rules of the game do change, and as of January 1st, 2026, a massive new regulation drops. Basically, you can no longer easily export 0-kilometer new vehicles disguised as used ones, which used to be a super common gray market tactic. If that car is under 180 days old from its initial registration, you absolutely must have a strict after-sales service confirmation letter. And look, this isn't just any piece of paper. It has to be issued directly by the manufacturer, complete with their official seal. Third-party dealers or modified vehicle shops, they cannot issue this for you. And if you don't have it, that car just isn't moving. All right, step 3, international sourcing, and specifically, tapping into the massive Japanese auction market. So, buying from Japanese wholesale auctions requires some real strategy. It is a completely different world from walking into your local dealership. First up, you search the listings for your target vehicle using their incredibly detailed inspection sheets. I mean, these things grade everything from interior wear to completely invisible mechanical faults. Second, and this is absolutely vital, you have to set your maximum bid based on your total landed costs, not just the hammer price. If you forget to factor in shipping and taxes, you're going to lose money before the car even leaves the lot. Third, since these are tightly controlled, dealer-only environments, you'll place your bid via a trusted local exporter. And finally, once you win, you coordinate the shipment from Japan right to your destination port. Which brings us perfectly to step 4, logistics and shipping, or, actually moving these giant machines across oceans. This is where your theoretical business plan literally hits the water. You essentially have two main choices for moving a 2-ton piece of machinery across the globe. The first is RoRo, which stands for roll-on/roll-off. And, just like it sounds, vehicles are driven directly onto these massive specialized cargo ships. It's highly cost-effective and super efficient for standard cars. On the flip side, though, you have container shipping. This is where your cars are packed securely inside enclosed metal cargo containers. That gives you superior protection from salt water, the elements, and a drastically lower risk of theft while it's in transit. The standard 40-foot container is really the absolute workhorse of global trade. If you go this route, you can strategically kind of Tetris 2 to 3 vehicles inside just one of these boxes to really maximize your shipping dollar. But listen, you can't just park them, set the emergency brake, and lock the doors. Maritime law has some very strict rules. Gas tanks have to be bone dry to prevent fumes, batteries must be completely disconnected, and no, you absolutely cannot use the cars as extra storage by stuffing them full of hazardous materials. Safety is paramount when these boxes are stacked 10 high out there on the open ocean. Now here's a strategic transport tip that really separates the amateurs from the pros. When you're organizing the inland transport of your vehicles to the ship, always choose an export port, like, say, Newark, New Jersey, or Long Beach, California, that is closest to the wholesale auction where you bought the car, not the port closest to your home dealership. Why? Because moving a car overland on a truck is incredibly expensive compared to moving it over water. Inland trucking will literally eat your margins alive if you aren't careful, so you want to minimize that land-based distance at all costs. Step 5. Customs clearance. Time to navigate border control. Bureaucracy is pretty unforgiving, so you really have to master this exact document checklist. A single missing stamp or a tiny typo can freeze your assets for weeks. Actually, missing something as simple as a VIN verification causes 40% of all shipping delays. So you must present your original vehicle title, the bill of lading that details the maritime shipment, a commercial invoice stating the value, a certificate of origin, and, if you're bringing cars into the U.S., the Customs Border Patrol Form 7501. If you have these completely perfect, your cars will sail right through. But miss even one, you're going to be paying daily storage fees at the port, and nobody wants that. You also need to learn a bit of trade jargon. Meet HS Code 8703. This is the globally recognized harmonized system classification code used specifically for passenger vehicles. Literally every customs agent in the world knows this number. Getting this exact code right on your commercial invoice is basically your golden ticket. It ensures completely accurate duty calculations and heavily prevents customs agents from flagging your shipment for a manual review, which, trust me, is a headache you absolutely want to avoid. And finally, step 6, maximizing profit, where we actually calculate that bottom line. Let's look at the hidden realities of global trade here. The math is honestly make or break. Your purchase price at the auction, that's really just the tip of the iceberg. To calculate your true landed cost, you have to add in all your fixed costs. So that means inland trucking, maritime shipping, port fees, and customs duties. You also have to factor in the FX rate, or foreign exchange. Listen, currency fluctuations can wipe out a 10% profit margin overnight if the yen or the dollar shifts in the wrong direction while your car's sitting at sea. It's only by really hyper-analyzing all of these factors that you can lock in your target gross profit per unit. Now, to really scale this whole operation from a hobby into an empire, you need 2 final strategies. First up, buy in bulk. Paying for one 40-foot container that holds 3 cars drastically lowers your per-unit transport costs compared to shipping just 1 car at a time via RoRo. And second, you've got to prioritize lasting relationships with foreign buyers or importers. I mean, if you could establish a reliable pipeline, say sending consistent, high-quality inventory to a trusted buyer in Africa or the Middle East, you create this steady stream of passive repeat business, rather than constantly burning all your energy hunting for one-off sales. So there you have it, the ultimate comprehensive blueprint. From analyzing international demand and navigating strict regulations, all the way to sourcing from Japanese auctions, packing shipping containers, and clearing customs without a hitch, you now know exactly what it takes to succeed in this massive industry. I guess the only question left is, what corner of the global car market are you going to conquer first?